On today's Drive Time, we're continuing the conversation about risk and volatility. Yesterday, we talked about these two things and how they're different, how risk is something we always want to avoid or reduce, but volatility can be our friend because volatility typically is associated with investments that lead to more opportunity. The key, though, is that everyone has within us our own volatility threshold, this line that we want to avoid, because if we go past that and we start to get involved with investments that are too volatile, study after study has shown that it leads us to start making emotional, irrational decisions, and that's the worst possible thing for any investment. So we need to make sure that we know where that line is and we keep ourselves from crossing that line. So today I want to talk about how you can identify that line within yourself. You know, when I was in college, I went to Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, and New Orleans was about 60 minutes away. And I had friends that they rode street bikes, and their idea of a fun Friday, Saturday night was that they would race each other from Baton Rouge to New Orleans on I-10, but they would do it at 2 in the morning, and they would do it with the lights off and night vision goggles on. So they would go 140, 160 in complete darkness, and that was their way of traveling from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. Now, there was never a time then, and there isn't a time now, that I ever had any interest in doing that. That wasn't for me. Now, I might have driven a fast sports car, weaved in and out of traffic at that time. Today, if I have my kids in the car, I'm probably just going to throw the thing on cruise control, hop in the slow lane, and just enjoy the ride. So the point is, there are different ways to travel from Baton Rouge to New Orleans, and different people enjoy different methods, right? Everybody's got a comfort level, a way that they like to do that. Some people, by the way, will change their methods over time. Like I just mentioned, you know, at that point, I might have kind of weaved in and out of traffic in a fast sports car. Might not do that today if I have more important cargo in the car with me, right? And so at different stages in your life, or based on the types of things you're carrying, it's probably going to change the way you want to make that trip. Well, the same thing's true with your money, that when you're investing, over time, you will probably change the appetite for volatility, the appetite for uncertainty that you have based on where you are in life, and also based on how much you're carrying with you. And so, you know, if you had $1,000 and you're 20 years old, you might be willing to accept a ton of volatility in pursuit of that opportunity. But if you're 40 years old and you have a couple of kids and you have $1 million in your investment account, you may not be willing to accept as much volatility and uncertainty. So the point is that you need to identify where that number is and then constantly reevaluate it over time to make sure that you know what investments you can consider and which that you need to stay away from. So how do you identify your volatility threshold? Well, there's a lot of scientific ways to do this. If you work with an advisor, if you go online, you can find these different tools that kind of help answer that question. But one of the easiest ways to do it, just a general rule of thumb, is to do what I just call the devastation test. So think about if you were to open your investment account statement, or maybe just go online 6 months from now, and you saw that your investments were down. How much do you need to be down in order to feel completely devastated, to feel like someone just punched you in the gut? So if you had $10,000 today, and 6 months from now you're down 5,000, maybe 3,000, 9,000, like how much do you need to be down in order to feel completely devastated? So you're going to have to actually kind of put yourself in that place mentally. You're going to have to really think about it and kind of play out those scenarios in your mind. And then based on that, you'll be able to find kind of a loose devastation point. So that's really important. And in the next video, I'll talk about how to identify investments that are within your volatility threshold, that don't exceed that, because the last thing you want is to go buy investments that are going to put you in a place where you don't want to be. So that'll be on the next Drive Time. Stay tuned for that.